in prison, you really do have to be selective on who you take advice from, because while you'll have a handful of people who will try their best to have your interest at heart, you'll have other people who will basically tell you things to screw you over. And a great example of this is like, say like when you go to some prisons, right? Sometimes you will have the option of like asking for like which pod or which unit you want to stay in. Now some units are way, way better than others. Some units are peaceful. Other units are like hectic, you know, where stabbings and beatings and lockdowns always happen. These are usually what you call the gang units, right? Gang units. And sometimes, like when you're new, right, you don't know anything about these units. You don't know how bad they are. So you might just ask, you know, a fellow inmate, hey, or a fellow potential inmate, because, you know, he's being processed with you, what's a good, you know, place to stay in? And they'll say, I don't know, unit 12 or pod B or A or whatever, right? Little do you know, though, that this pod is like one of the gang units. And yeah, this almost happened to someone I knew, but luckily when he was going to the guard and he asked to be in this gang unit, right? The guard's like, why would you want to be in a gang unit? It's a horrible unit. He's like, oh, I didn't know, right? So be very selective on who you take advice from. Don't trust anybody there at first. Actually get to know people before you start taking their word for it, because one thing I realized about prison is that everybody, you'll have 10 people here, right? All 10 people will usually tell you something fucking different. So you got to choose who you want to trust more.